Highlights from the final race of the WTCR Trophy in the RaceRoom Ranked Championship. We see Dinez starting from pole position, Farkash attacking straight on the run down towards the first corner into the centre S on that very first lap. Popov and Fosto would switch over positions in the background, with Popov taking over 4th position. Farkash would attack for the race lead coming down into turn 4, straight down the inside of Dinez, who'd hanging around the outside of turn 4 and turn 5. It had given the inside line up towards Ferradura, and that is how he would hang on to the race lead. Meanwhile, in the championship fight, Balashnaj was up in 3rd. Sebastian Ray was down in 7th with a lot of pressure on his shoulders from Peter Daniel behind, Pavel Makonnen ahead, as well as Fosto, positions that he would need to make up if he wanted the championship. However, he'd be dropping down one Peter Daniel with the cutback out of Interlagos, and then he'd be up into 7th position. However, the battle was not done yet on the exit of Ferradura. Sebastian Ray absolutely slammed one down the inside before they got towards Pinarino. When they got up towards Biga de Pato, though, it was the switchback once again would hand it back to the Alfa Romeo of Peter Daniel. Behind, Buzzo and Van Roon were battling it out just behind Sebastian Ray, almost trying to find their way past, but piling on the pressure. However, this bit of contact from the exit of turn 2 would send them a bit further down the order. Sandstrom swinging his way around the outside, Buzzo dropping back a couple of positions as well. A bit of a naughty squeeze there on the exit of the second corner. Back up to the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th, and Fosto and Pavel Makonnen were switching over. Popov ahead of all of that in the very bright pink Cupra. On board with the driver that was going for the championship, Balashnaj himself, he'd caught up to the leaders and was starting to apply the pressure. Fosto in a little bit too deep into the first corner. Contact with Pavel Makonnen, and Peter Daniel was closing in, would swing his way around the outside of turn 3 and get his way up into 6th position. Once again, back up towards the front, back up to the battle for the race lead, and the Dinez was out wide. Bent Farkash taking over the race lead, but once again up in towards Ferradura, move back to the inside from Dinez to retake over the top of the race. Meanwhile, Balashnaj was getting himself involved in the fight, rubbing over the rear end of Farkash's car, trying to move his way up from 3rd into 2nd. Fosto and Daniel, super move from Daniel to have got the up and under out of turn 4 to go all the way around the outside of Ferradura. He'd have to keep it around the outside of the S, and it would give him the inside line all the way around Pinarino. But it was a bit of a slow run from Popov, starting to struggle just a touch in the race. Fosto, thankfully, though, was out wide for Daniel's case, and he would move up the position. Out wide into turn 2, it was Farkash going in a little bit too deep, and straight around the outside, Balashnaj from 3rd up into 2nd. A very important move potentially in the points race. Meanwhile, the switch over for 4th. Daniel straight to the front of that train, getting around the outside of Popov, dragging Fosto through with him, and potentially Pavel Makonnen as well on the run down the Reta Aposta to Desquita de Largo. However, back up towards the race lead. As much as he was sat in 2nd for a little while, Balashnaj left the door open for Bent Farkash to come through and retake over that 2nd spot. Bit of contact between Fosto and Popov. That would actually breach the points limits for Fosto, and he would end up getting disqualified from the race automatically. Battle for the race lead, though, was back on as Farkash had taken over it from Dinez. A bit of a squeeze over the curb coming around Ferradura. Balashnaj was fancying his way to potentially pass up into the S. There wasn't there. And now on board with Sebastian Ray, the laps were ticking off, and for him, he'd almost been given a golden ticket. Contact between Popov and Makonnen had given him 2 positions in one corner, and then as he went for the 3rd, it was a little bit too much. Tried getting past Daniel, but was out a little bit too wide through the first corner. Straight around the outside, Popov would go to retake over a position inside the top 5. Farkash in too deep, though, into that first corner also, and it was Dinez with the up and under to look to become the 4th different winner of the season. This was on the final lap as it begun. Popov out a little bit wide, Daniel going around the outside of him, Sebastian Ray trying to find his way through, Pavel Makonnen straight to the inside of us. There'd be 2 Paidu on the Reta Aposta. Biga de Pato turned for the opportunity for Sebastian Ray to do something special, and unfortunately that opportunity wouldn't come. He dropped down to 4th in the train, and that would be 7th in the race. Meanwhile, the battle for the race lead was on. Dinez hanging onto it, Bent Farkash going for it. He got to the inside just a little bit on the run towards Biga de Pato, but then have to go back to the outside. There was no opportunity there, and the drag race towards the line would see Dinez become the 4th different winner of the season, and Balashnaj the champion.